Here's something that'll make you think twice about air travel. Modern aircraft have an automated system that can actually override human air traffic controllers when it detects a potential collision. It's like having an electronic guardian angel that can overrule human decisions to keep everyone safe.
That's fascinating. How exactly does a computer system get that kind of authority in aviation?
Well, it's called TCAS, Traffic Collision Avoidance System. And what's really interesting is that pilots are required to follow its commands even if they directly contradict what air traffic control is telling them. The system is so trusted because it can make split-second decisions faster than any human could.
Hmm. So how quickly do pilots need to respond when this system gives them a command?
They have just 5 seconds to begin the maneuver. And here's where it gets really intense. The pilot has to disconnect the autopilot, follow precise vertical speed indicators, and execute the exact maneuver the system commands. What's even more fascinating is that TCAS systems in different aircraft are actually talking to each other, coordinating their escape maneuvers.
That coordination part seems crucial. What happens if a pilot doesn't follow the instructions exactly?
Oh man, that's where things can get dangerous. Since the systems are coordinating with each other, if one pilot doesn't follow their commands, they could actually be flying directly into the path of another aircraft that's following its TCAS instructions. It's like a carefully choreographed dance where everyone has to follow their steps precisely.
That really puts the pressure on pilots to respond correctly in those situations.
Exactly, and there are these very specific protocols they have to follow. For instance, during the last 2,000 feet of climbing or descending, pilots have to limit their vertical speed to 1,500 feet per minute if they know there's other traffic nearby. And get this, during landing approaches, if they get a climb command while their landing gear is down, they have to immediately abort the landing and go around.
So they actually have to abandon a landing if the system tells them to. That must be intense.
Right. And what's really interesting is that in newer aircraft, they've developed something called autopilot, flight director TCAS mode, which can actually handle the entire avoidance maneuver automatically. But pilots still need to monitor everything carefully because if the automated response isn't aggressive enough, they need to take over manually.
That seems like a perfect example of how automation and human judgment need to work together.
Absolutely right. And here's something counterintuitive. During these emergency maneuvers, the pilot who isn't flying is specifically instructed not to look for the other aircraft. They need to stay focused on monitoring instruments and communicating with air traffic control instead of trying to spot traffic through the windscreen.
Well, that certainly goes against what most people would expect. How did they develop all these procedures?
It's been an evolution based on decades of experience and analysis. They've thought through every scenario, engine failures, parallel runway operations, even specific procedures for particular airports where standard TCAS responses might not be appropriate. And they're constantly refining these procedures as they learn more.
The level of detail in all this is remarkable.
And you know what's really amazing? This system operates silently in the background of every commercial flight, with most passengers completely unaware it exists. It's constantly scanning, calculating, and ready to spring into action if needed. In fact, there are probably numerous potential conflicts being avoided every day that we never even hear about because the system works so well.
That's really the mark of a great safety system, isn't it? When it works so well that we don't even notice it's there.
Exactly. And as air travel continues to grow, systems like TCAS become even more crucial. It's fascinating to think about how this technology has fundamentally changed aviation safety, making it possible for thousands of aircraft to operate safely in crowded airspace. It's one of those behind-the-scenes innovations that has truly revolutionized modern air travel.